live. Let's see, we're live. I just want to make sure we're on. Yeah, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook and YouTube. So what's going on, good people? Um, Listen, I want to come on here real quick. I know we've been a little bit quiet January and February, and I wanted to make sure we got in here before the end of the month. I'm Victor Simmons, and I'm excited to host this quick live. So yeah, we've hit pause. We've taken some stock. We're recharging right now for Q1, and Q2 is going to look a little bit different as well. But as a reminder, this is for the Careers and Collaborations group for the IDC, which is the Institute for Diversity Certification. And it's a professional community focused on empowering diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioners and advocates through career advancement, peer support, and we often provide practical tools throughout the year. And so we talk about strategies to thrive in this space, which we continue, they're still trying to come for us in the world of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we like to support new and emerging professionals. We like to clarify expectations at different career stages. And we foster collaboration through our online engagement that we do here through our lives. You'll hear about it later. We're going to do some Zoom calls as well. And would like to see us get to the point where we do some group events. And so we'll see what the IDC has in store for that. So members also help each other with personal branding. We've had my good friend Russell Edmond on here a couple of times to talk about personal branding. And we talk about job readiness and then being able to access career and board opportunities that you see on the Careers and Collaborations group page. There are opportunities there, which again, I hate to get on my soapbox, but despite what the media will have you think out there, there is still a lot of great work that's being done, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So today we're doing three things. First, doing a pulse check where we are in today's workplace and developing inclusive leaders. Preview what's coming for the Careers and Collaborations group. And then at the end, actually later today, we'll make sure that the post is out there with this recording will be out there. And then I'll come on and drop a comment underneath the recording with a poll, because I haven't put it together yet. So once I get the poll together, I'll drop that in the comment so that I can hear from you all on what you want us to cover for the rest of 2026. So we're going to dive in and I'll tell you my thoughts on those things. And then certainly we're looking for your input as well. Normally you see when we go live, it's usually me and Dr. Rhea Horton. And so she is still with us, y'all. I just want to be transparent about that and give you good news. Rhea's not about. She will have a baby later this year. And so Rhea's will be out. She's going to help us out a little bit, but then we'll be out on maternity leave. So send your love to Rhea and congratulate her. And then she will join us later in the summer. So let's talk about what we're seeing in the field when it comes to developing inclusive leaders. I'll tell you from my vantage point, and certainly drop a comment. I'll check the comments. If you think I'm all wet on this, or you're in agreement with what I'm saying, drop that comment as well. Or you're seeing something different. Let us know what you're seeing out there. But as I said at the top of this, despite what you may hear in the media around those three scary letters, diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, many organizations are doing the good work. And of course, there are those that are still, just doing the window dressing, only going surface deep in developing inclusive leadership. But, I think I did a video on this not long ago where Starbucks, had a lawsuit where someone was trying to say that they were discriminated against, and there were no findings. They could not find anything that was discriminatory in the work that's being done. So when you're doing the real work, you actually is a great defense for any kind of discriminatory cases that come against you as an organization. So title changes or changing the names of programs, that's never really translated into mindset shifts, quite frankly. So I've always said this, I'm not a big fan of, let's change this name or let's, call this. But that has been the evolution of this work that we've been doing since the 80s, quite frankly. So names are going to change. But that isn't really what changes the mindset. It's the real work. It's where you're pulling the right levers and the right pulleys, and you got good programming, and you're looking at the metrics, and then you are developing the programming and the projects and the programs off of what the metrics are telling you. And most importantly of all, is that you are tying all of that work to what are your business goals? What are those? What are your core values? And make sure that they are in tandem with your core values. And what is it you're trying to do? If you're a nonprofit, what is it you're trying to accomplish as a nonprofit? And that you are dialing in the work you're doing from an inclusive standpoint to get you to those goals. You will get there faster when you do that. And the same thing when you're for profit. Whatever your business goals are, what are those? And when you weave in, as I said, those pulleys and levers that you're pulling, you're looking at your metrics. We all know it is just the numbers have always been there. When you have an entirely homogenous team, then you usually have 3 or 4 ideas like this. But when you have a very expansive, very diverse group of people, then you got 7, 8, 9 different ideas to be able to pick the best idea. And that's what makes you more creative. And that's what makes you more inventive. And that's what makes you the leader in your field. And so when you do that, you're gonna get done. You may not hear some of it because there are organizations out there. I know one, I'd love to talk about it because someone I know very close to me works in this organization, works on their inclusive team, and is getting the work done. It's just that they are not going to be very loud about it, so that they are protected against these folks that are coming after people, bringing these frivolous and ridiculous, if you will allow me to say so, ridiculous lawsuits. And so that's why you're not hearing some of it. And then, of course, the media. And then I'll get off my soapbox after I say this. The media just loves to talk about the bad news. They just love to talk about when someone does capitulate, and as opposed to celebrating those that are out there doing the great work. So let's just keep that in mind. What else about when we're talking about inclusive leadership? What that means is consistently modeling empathy, sharing power, and being held accountable for equity outcomes, not just checking a box. And I know that is hard to do for some leaders, but the ones that get this figured out, they just, again, always thrive. They always do better. Their teams always thrive when you come from a empathetic and a sharing of a power standpoint, as opposed to the adverse of that. Certainly the bright spots out there are organizations that are investing in inclusive coaching, elevating ERG leads into formal leadership tracks. And by the way, y'all, pay your ERG leads, right? Pay your ERG leads. Figure it out. They're already getting paid, but you need to do something different. You need to do something additional for the work that's being done within the organization. You should be tying whatever it is. This isn't an ERG that's just doing soul food in the cafeteria during Black History Month. No. What it should be doing is your ERG should be helping you drive the business. And in doing so, they should get they should be getting some bonus in some fashion. They should be getting paid in some fashion to do that. So you'll get more bang for your buck if you tie an incentive to, look, if we get this project done before the projected time, then there's a little extra that comes at the end of this. Or because we made X amount and whatever it is, then they get 1% of that. So you got to figure that out. You need to do something like that. Get creative and make it happen. Certainly need to create scorecards to be able to tie the inclusion behaviors to when you're doing promotions or whatever it is that you're doing. Make sure that we are looking at the metrics. So again, as I said, if I'm off, let me see. I'm going to take a quick look. I don't think I see any comments coming in yet. So yeah. All right. Well, we're going to keep it pushing. If you have any questions, drop those in there as well. So let's talk about what is going to be coming next, looking ahead into this coming quarter. So we've put together some things. So things are still going to be happening. Ria's working on an article. I just got a text from her. She's working on an article that's going to come out probably next week, because it's next week is April, y'all. And so I'll be holding things down up through about July, but she will kick April off next quarter with an article on professional and leadership skill development. And then May through July, I'm going to do a couple of Zoom conversations. One will be focused on reimagining DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion frameworks beyond the traditional models. Because, we have to, despite what I said about, changing the name, sometimes it's not necessarily you're changing the names just to avoid scrutiny. It is that because things need to continue to grow. So we're going to look at the new DEI frameworks out there. We'll talk about psychological safety, belonging, and inclusive cultures, what that looks like and what I think we should be looking at now. We're going to do some group calls also, where we're committed to supporting new DEI professionals, not just those already in the work. And so we're going to talk about, of course, the real world advice out there. That's the only way I know how to do it, y'all. We'll want to share career navigation strategies. That's usually a pretty popular one. So we'll talk about that. It is brutal out there. I know that it is. And not just in the world of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but also in all industries, or the majority of the industries out there. It is tough, particularly for white collar roles that have just been devastated all of 2025, and that just continues to happen already in what we've seen at the top of this year. We'll talk about brand. That's always popular, so we will talk about brand again. Career branding, and certainly if you need help on resumes, although I will tell you, I think the resume is dead, y'all. You need to be doing this. Quite frankly, you need to be out there on LinkedIn talking. Just posting is not even it anymore. You need to be doing video, not just lives, but just doing videos. If you look on my page, you'll see a lot of that, and that's what gets traction. That's what people are looking at. And certainly look at your resume, make sure it's updated, but it's doing work like this, where you are out there talking about what your expertise is. You need to do a lot of storytelling of your own story, and what your thought leadership is. You need to be doing that. You need help with that, you let me know. Certainly I can share what I've been doing and what I hear, what's going on out there. And then closing things out, let's see, what else did I want to tell? Oh, I mentioned before that I'm going to drop a poll. So once I get that together, I'll put a poll on there and in the comments section. And I'd like to hear from you all what it is that you'd like to see the remainder of this year in the Careers and Collaborations group. We get, whenever we do sessions, we usually get, 4 or 5, half dozen people that show up on the Zoom calls when we do that. So we're going to continue to do that this year. Let us know what times and days work best for you. We usually will do different days, different times, because you never get the right day for any large group of folks. So we'll still sort of experiment with the days and times. But if you have feedback for us on that, we will take that. So thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. As always, I ask you all that are doing this work, I know it's tough work out there, so make sure that you're taking time to realign, reset, and re-energize yourself for what we've been going through and what we continue to go through, because it is far from being over, y'all. We still got a lot of work, a heavy lifting to do for us ahead. And so that's what's going on with the Institute for Diversity Certifications, Careers and Collaborations group for what's coming in the next few months. Transition real quick, since I have the floor, I have the mic. I will tell you, I am going to do another live. I'm doing a live under my brand, Victorious Endeavors. And I have a show that I'm doing, Victorious Leadership Live, that I do once a month. And it is hospitality related, it is leadership related, where I bring in different leaders in the hospitality industry, and we have real talk. We talk about the real deal, like what is really going on in our hotels, what is really happening, and the leadership that works. And we talk about mistakes that have been made and how we've grown from that. And so I'm super excited to say that we are going to have the senior VP, newly promoted, newly transitioned into this role, Say Koke, who is the senior vice president of JRK Property Holdings, I believe is JRK. We call them JRK, and he just took on this role. Maybe he's about 3 weeks in. And so I want to hear what's going on with him. What's been happening? I lost track of him the last maybe 6-7 weeks. I know he's been out of the country, and he's just back. And I can't get him during the, normally we would do this like the third. I like to do these on the third week of the month. The third week of the month, Wednesdays. But I can't get this guy. He's too busy during the week because he's in a new role and he's trying to make it happen. And so he said, man, we got to do this on the weekend. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to have Say on the show, and we're going to talk about it. So be on the lookout for that as well. And then, I think a question just came in. Let's see. Someone says, yes, a PDF resume is now only as good as the AI interpretation of your document. Ain't that right? Don't kid yourself to think that an actual person is reading it before you are considered for an open role. Yes, whoever said that, you're absolutely right. It is, we're in the AI age. And so before a human even looks at something, so if you're just applying online and thinking, okay, man, I got an application in, and now hoping for the best, that ain't gonna cut it. And so you got to do something else to get beyond that, get to the recruiter, and they are super swamped. So you need to figure out a way to be able to get to the hiring manager. And the best way to do that is to be visible. Because right now, they're not seeing you on an application. You need to be visible. So whoever put that in there, thank you for participating. All right, I think that is all. Let me go on here real quick. Let me go over to YouTube and just see if I have anything on YouTube, any comments there. And then if not, I'm gonna let you all get back to your day. Okay, I don't see anything there. So with that, listen, it's Friday afternoon. So y'all have a great weekend, and rest and recharge over the weekend if you can, and then get back to it on Monday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.